everyone, it's Carolyn here to share more channeled messages. This time again, Celeste and I got together and we just started talking and decided to record. And this time we're talking about what are we going to look like after we're past the virus and what it's doing to us currently. So right now we're kind of in this collective holding our breath, right? I mean, most of us in some kind of secluded state. As this is still occurring, and it's currently, let's see, March 28th. So this has been recorded on March 28th, but needless to say, we got talking through kind of my human ponderings about some of the things that, I don't know, I've been thinking about and haven't channeled, and decided that as we got talking would be really great to channel. So what are we going to look like as a global community after this is over with? So you're getting some channeled messages today on that topic. And like I always say to you guys is, take what resonates for you in this. It may be all of it. It may be some of it. It might be none of it. So just know that we're offering to you today to put together, as I've mentioned before, pieces of the puzzle for your own journey, for your own understanding. And we hope you enjoy our conversation because we sure had an interesting time of it. So with that, Celeste is my friend and colleague. Her information is listed below in the event that you would like to connect with her. And she and I do these channels together on occasion to offer this for your ascension and awakening journey. And I'm Carolyn Zaiser. I'm a channel, I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor. And I offer these channels on a regular basis for you from either us or the Light Keepers, so that you can have more information and support along your journey. So with that, for those of you who are new, welcome to my channel. I would love if you like, share, and subscribe because you can get more content on the awakening and ascension journey as well. And there is a free video below that you're going to see on how to create health and wellness in your body through creating flow. So click on that, and then it leads you to more free content on the awakening and ascension journey, as well as a channeled message each week from the Light Keepers. So I hope you will join me. So I'm going to just shoot you on over to the video right now, and then I'll join you like I always do at the end. Enjoy. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So we've moved to this new timeline that is a higher vibration timeline, and yet human Carolyn sits here and goes, okay, how in the world is that? And maybe it saved us from something else. We don't know necessarily. However, I start thinking of all the work that light workers have done. And I'm just going to throw out some ideas, like starting businesses that are helpful to people, like doing their own, like this whole idea of these things are breaking down for people now. It doesn't matter if you're a light worker or not, you're having some impact by that, right? By this economic, this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And the vehicle that we have in our societal structure, the way it is worldwide now, is to create a business. I mean, that's the way it is, right? Because first of all, right now, I don't care what anybody else says, you do have to have income to live a life where you can still keep giving, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you have that, but then you have, and you have it in the form of, typically, it's a business or a nonprofit that you create, right? You have to have a vehicle in which this service or product comes through in order for you to have the necessary funds to continue to live. Now, so hold on to that. So I understand a lot of these constructs are breaking down. But how does that serve us when what has been being built by light workers, and many have started doing their thing, right, is now like down here, or and I know it's temporary, but it could be months, it could be years. We do not know. And I don't, again, I sound this kind of sounds depressing, but we don't know. I mean, we don't know. So I'm really, I guess personally, and we can see if we get information, I don't know, I would love to understand this further. And how is this serving our greater good? How is this serving our greater good? Other than the fact that, as I just earlier mentioned, which we don't want to really probably go back in time and get into, but maybe it saved us from something else that would have been worse, right? So that's a potential.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any thoughts on that? And whether we want to try to get information on this. I'm personally, I find myself not agonizing, but thinking about this, analyzing this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm talking about?
I think so. Well, here's the thing. I think this new timeline is going to allow people to utilize more of who they really are. Whether it be
Okay, I just heard, sorry, I'm going to say this real quick. Once we get back on our feet is what they just said.
Yes. I agree. I totally agree with that. I think that because this whole process of what we're going through right now is allowing us time to go within, to clear and process and release. And this downtime is all about us preparing for what is coming.
Okay, forget
all the new changes.
Okay, totally agree. However, I'm still going to go back to, and everybody's probably going to be like, if this turns into a video, they'll be like, well, it's not about money. It's not about, well, I'm here to tell you, we're still in a money construct. We're still in a money system. Yeah. That is not changing overnight. I'm going to tell you that tomorrow. We're not going to no money and everybody bartering.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
No. So then I sit and go, well, what of all the people now who, literally are losing everything because of what's happening now? Yeah. How does what was presented to us, which I firmly believe was presented to us, how does that overall, how does that assist the lightworker agenda that we've been working on, that people have been actually creating out of, I guess is my point. Because I see things, okay, so there's two parts of me where I see the ethereal part and the beautiful thoughts are things thing, and we can put energy out there and make things be real. But then there's the real tactile part of it where we create a thing because we're human, right? So we brought in our higher self to do that, to be able to work as the human, to be able to create out of our divineness. So people are starting to do that, right? They really are. And, forget whether they have bumps and grinds and difficulties along the way for a second, but how is this? I'm struggling a little with that, I guess. And I know there's a lot of different complexities within this that probably play in, but.
You know what I'm getting about this is that that the universe, Mother, Father, God, whatever you want to call it, is actually taking care of people more now than ever before, even the folks who are struggling.
Okay, I just heard it's not visible yet.
Yes, exactly. It's not visible yet. There's this overarching feeling or sense that I'm getting is that people are going to be taken care of.
And I just heard the systems are being rewritten.
That's it.
A little weird. The systems are being rewritten. Okay, they're saying in time. Okay, they're talking about how it had to affect the collective. It could not have been done. Okay, they're talking about in I want to say, okay, compartmentalization. If that makes sense. Like the entireness of us had to be impacted by this. Oh, they just said to break us down into what we can really be.
This whole time, what's happening right now in our current time is a breaking down on so many levels, right? I mean, people's lives are being disrupted on so many levels. So some people are still working, some people are working part-time, some people are at home working, some people don't have anything.
Yes.
But it feels like even those people who are most vulnerable, who are not working and who are at home, I feel like they're going to be taken care of. Like in the next month, maybe 2, things will have been rewritten to take care of those most vulnerable. I don't know how, I don't know what it's going to look like, but it really feels like this is a breaking down before the rebuilding happens.
Agree. I'm just, I guess, okay. God, you know what they just said? This may be the answer to my question because it just came in. They said 2 steps forward, 1 back. So this is the 1 back.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, before the launching forward, they just said, ooh, okay, so hang on. So now what I'm getting is that, okay, I don't know. And then I'm getting that like a big launching forward. And they're saying quickly, but you know how they are with time. I don't know what that even means anymore.
I think it is going to be quickly. I think March, April is the step back. Remember, I think we talked about this the other day about how this is the inhale, right? This is where we're going within. We're focused within. We're by ourselves. Well, most of us, we're alone with our thoughts, our consciousness. Most of us are.
Well, we're alone in one way or another.
In one way or another.
Whether you're living with 10 people or not, you know.
Yeah. We're bored. Some of us are bored. Maybe not everybody, but some of us are bored, right? I think this is the great inhale. And then with the exhale, which I really feel is going to come in at the end of April, but definitely the beginning of May.
And you know what I'm getting on that? Hold your thought. What I'm getting on that is that that's the curve down of the actual virus worldwide. Because right now we have the wave. You know, there's a wave. You know, it kind of makes me wonder the other day in that channel when they talked about wave upon wave, we were talking about energies. I think that had dual meaning, honestly.
I think it does too.
China, Europe. Oh, okay. So what I was saying was the curve. I think what we're seeing, and correct me if this is not what you're getting, the curve for the world is there's no longer this thing like this, or I'm not, like this. That's what I meant. You know what I mean? Like where you start with China. This is now the down.
Well, I think in April it's going to be the down.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah.
So because so many countries have not reached their apex yet.
Right, including us, the U.S.
Including us. We've not reached the apex yet for our country. Some have.
Right.
I don't think we have.
We have not. That's what I'm getting.
And so at the end of April is when we're going to start going down. But I really feel the closer we get to the apex, the more those in charge are going to scramble to take care of people. They're going to scramble to figure out how can we mitigate any of the negative impacts on the population.
Okay, I have something crazy that just shot in.
Okay,
and it's tied to this. They said, talking about those in power. Okay, they're saying they cannot ignore it. Now this is going to sound maybe kind of loony, but they said because there has been contact.
I'm getting chills.
Are you? I'm too tied up in like what I just got because I'm like, what? They said it twice. Okay, so let's see if we can get some more. What do you mean there's been actual?
They are being guided by the star beings who are coming in.
Right, but let me ask him some questions here because what do you mean there's been contact? They just said actual physical contact. Okay, with a few in the know. Ooh, wait, hold on. And they're saying that are controlling things, but you don't know it. Oh my God, I have chills. Do you know anything? Do you know anything? I didn't expect this.
No, me neither. But what does that mean? Who's in the know?
I don't know, but I know that they're saying, well, okay. Here's what they're showing me. They just said underground systems.
Oh.
Okay, hold on. Okay, underground systems. Okay, they're saying, okay, this is getting into different territory. Who cares, right?
We just went left.
They said, those you think are in charge are not in charge. They just take orders.
Oh.
Okay, so this is how now this is Carolyn speaking. I've always kind of known in the back of my mind before my awakening that what we see in front of us on that TV and like the presidents and all that they're just like all these figureheads, and all the people that you don't hear from anymore are actually running the show. Now, I've kind of always kind of thought that, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. But now during this time of awakening, now that we wake up to understanding more about the whole ET presence, and maybe understanding that, we're not just maybe, but, oh, they just said, they said something of, okay, hold on. Talking about being led by the nose. Oh, you're no longer going to you're no longer going to be led by the nose. You know what that means, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you getting
what I just heard?
I feel a little out there.
You know what I just heard?
What?
The puppet strings are being cut. Mm-hmm.
So they're showing, okay, so they have a visual for me of, okay, this is interesting. So they're showing all of us here on Earth and the political players doing their thing, like on the surface. And then they're showing off to the right in my visual, this like underground area. They just said that's command and control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can see that. I'm seeing that.
Okay, they said there's an order in place with this new timeline.
The new timeline has switched everything up. That's what's happened. That's why. This new timeline, which is a higher vibrational timeline, is going to cause the control over those in charge to not work anymore.
Yeah, and I'm getting, this whole idea of contact.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I've always thought that there was contact.
No,
but not from these.
Not this type.
Not this type of contact. This is new. This is different.
Okay, what I'm getting, and tell me if this is what I'm getting, the contact, there has been work together, okay?
Yes,
However,
always.
What I'm getting is they're in charge now. Like, this is not going down the way you were intending it to go down. This now is going down this way. And how do I want to say this? Like, okay, they just said they've stepped to the forefront. No longer the background is what I'm hearing.
Okay, but let's clarify. So what I've always sensed is that those in charge, behind the scenes, ETs in charge, have not always had our best interest at heart, right?
Okay, I just heard that's not what we're talking about here.
Oh, okay.
Talking about, okay, hold on. They're saying we're talking about the higher version of the timeline. And okay, they're going to answer your question, I think. There have always been forces that wish not to see humankind either succeed or grow, as in stay in their place, right?
Right.
Oh, but they just said they are being managed.
But that's what I was going to say. So there's always been those forces in place. However, with this new timeline, that's not possible anymore.
Things have
shifted to a different level, to where those who used to be in charge are no longer in charge.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they can't, because we have raised our vibrations high enough that it doesn't work.
Exactly.
They can try.
Yep. So we're getting the same thing.
Yeah, we're getting the same thing.
It just said a little differently. Okay, they just said this is why it's going to look different. Although you may not notice it in the short term, and you may think it's chaos, particularly this year.
Yeah.
It's changing faster than you know. And they just showed me a visual of, how like a river, you can look at I'll just use the Mississippi since I grew up on it. The Mississippi can look like, oh, that looks so beautiful to go out on, and kind of just, flow down the river. And then you realize, oh my God, there's all this current in there that can sweep you away and change everything. That's what they're showing. The current is what's happening underneath that, the energetics that are happening with respect to changing the way things are going to be down the road. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. So now with these new energies in place, right? With the new this new higher vibration in place, and the new forces in place, those who do want things to change for us, right? Those beings who do want a more positive outcome and the evolution of the human experience and humankind, things are going to shift for the betterment of all.
Yes, even though what they're telling me is on the surface, it's gonna look worse for a while. That's that river they're showing. You know what I'm saying? With the current underneath, it's, even though it's kind of the opposite, like it's almost like it looks all chaotic, and then underneath is the smoothness of them working. So you can visualize it either way, right?
Definitely things are changing.
Okay, so since I'm the one bringing up all the questions today and kind of doing that kind of thing that we do as humans, wondering what it's going to be like. So what's been in my mind for the last couple of days is, what's the new normal? What's the new normal? What's this going to look like? What are the things that are going to shift and change? What will they look like? Can we get detail? I don't know. I just thought it would be interesting to try to have that conversation. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I'm curious myself. I've been wondering this myself.
Okay, so let's see what they have to say about this. So I'm going to toss out some particular structures that we currently exist within, and maybe they can, for kicks, give us some detail on what those will look like in the future.
Okay.
I don't know. You want to try that?
Hey, I'm open.
Okay, I am going to throw out, because I don't know, I have a feeling they want to talk. Okay, I'm going to throw out healthcare.
I'm dying to know. Go.
They're using the word universal.
Yes. Oh my God, I got that too.
No, so yes. No, I'm not talking US, okay? We're going to talk worldwide, all right?
Yes.
Because this is a worldwide thing. I know we live in the US for those of you watching, but okay, so I got the first word, universal.
That's so funny.
Here's the other thing I was saying the other day. Remember, I was really, I've been doing a lot of, I guess, pining. I don't know if it's pining or whining or thinking of solutions and things like that. And I said to you, God, there's all these energy healers out there right now. Wouldn't it be awesome if we were in a place where, energy healers were right alongside all the doctors helping these patients? Oh my God. Now, what I'm getting out of that is we're not there yet. Like, no. It's longer term for that to happen. Like, we are on the very beginning.
Yes.
Of the, how do I want to say this? The divine healing modalities to be integrated into the modern ways.
Yeah.
Are you getting that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, they just said, but it's coming.
It's coming. I'm thinking within the next 3 to 5 years.
They just said hand in hand. Hand in hand.
Yep.
I heard they're going to see a new way and a new vision. Oh, they just said because they must. And the must, I still see this, I don't want to say control, but guiding, like the guidance that they're getting now. Now, whether this is guidance through their higher self popping in now, because everybody's at a different timeline, we've all leveled up to some one degree or another. Or
what I'm visualizing? I'm visualizing a medical clinic, right? So you go to your medical clinic, you see your provider, your medical provider, and your provider says, okay, Miss Johnson, I want you to come back and see me in a month, but today I want you to go right next door into the next office and meet with our energy worker for a session, and just do that for like 3 more sessions, along with whatever medication they might.
Yeah, but I'm getting that some ways off. That's not an
yes.
Okay, they just said okay. I'm sorry, they're getting me all these words: integrative approach, and they're also talking about a worldwide system of connectivity. So what they're now showing me is countries. They're showing me the world map, and they're showing like this web. And it's a good web. It's of communication. Like the systems are going to be more in sync with each other and
across the world.
Able to communicate. Yes. And shift and exchange resources in ways you've never seen before.
And you know why? Oh my gosh. This is what I just got. You know why? Because all of this that's happening is this whole virus is, you know, impacting everybody across the board. But there are some countries that are doing really, really good work to navigate how to address the virus in so many people. Like they're doing really well and being successful, and some aren't. And that's, this whole thing is cracking all of the structures that divide us. It's cracking them open.
Right. So talking about healthcare. So, right, exactly. So they said, oh God, I should have written it down. Okay, they said this is going to connect you more than you know in ways you never imagined. So what they're showing with the healthcare system then is that communication, that connection, that, okay, they just said of creating new systems. It's like okay, don't ask me how long this would take, but it's like a global healthcare network is what they're talking about, global. And
gosh, I love it.
A global healthcare network. They keep saying universal.
Yeah, yeah. I can totally see this.
Telemedicine is involved, and it also, I know telemedicine is being used now, but it's going to be used.
It's going to be used more than ever before. Yeah. So that people who are sick don't even have to leave their homes.
You know what they're saying? There are people right now, they said, which probably seems obvious, but maybe not, right now looking at this going, okay, guys, we're getting together, and this is what we're creating to create the new this because of what they've seen. Let's keep going on healthcare. Okay, they're showing me children. Impoverished children, like in Africa, in India. I don't know what that means yet, but let's see if we can get anything. Okay, they're showing me pregnant women, and they're talking about maternal.
The most vulnerable, they'll have access to.
Yeah, and they're talking about how that's going to actually, okay, because it's hard to get, like lots of times to get to people that need that support the most. Do you know what I mean? And there are not, the networks don't exist. Oh, they're going to create networks for that in particular. Because look what they're doing right now. I don't know if it was you that told me this or somebody else, where like they're really helping the homeless now. They have all these systems created. Is it Oregon or Washington or California? One of the three?
Yeah.
But they didn't have them in place before. Okay, new ways to,
you know why?
Connect with those most marginalized is what I'm hearing.
Yes, but do you know why? Because this pandemic has made it obvious that if they don't address and take care of the most marginalized, most vulnerable, it could wipe out so many people. And they can't keep spreading and spreading. They will have to. It has opened people's eyes, those in charge, that they have to take care of the most marginalized and vulnerable populations.
And here's the thing. I still keep going back to this. You know what? I don't care if they're seeing that now at the top. Most of them, or a lot of them, are still going to want to go back to their old ways of being, like, we're just going to keep plodding forward, right? And not revisit how things should be structured. But what I'm getting, they keep poking me on this, is that's not who's leading this anymore.
Right.
You may think that by what it looks like. That's not who's leading this.
Right.
So here's what I'm also being shown, is they're showing me pockets of these wonderful organizations that are helping throughout the world the most marginalized, okay?
Yes.
And they're there doing their thing. And
they've always been there.
Correct. But it's still like in pockets. And yes, they have communication with other organizations to help and assist, but it's still been very hard for them, right? Like they struggle a lot in all of this. But what I'm hearing is that is all going to change. Like this is part of that new global healthcare network.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
They just said from top to bottom, and when they say that, they say it in terms we can understand, not meaning people are at the bottom, but from all levels of society.
Systems from top to bottom are going to be changing. Yeah. So this pandemic has opened people's eyes and hearts, whether they think that or not, or know it or not, it doesn't matter, but it's really opened people's eyes to the understanding that we have to do things differently if we want to survive as a race.
Yeah, and I'm getting, okay, so now they pop in the pharmaceutical industries and all of that. So Okay, they just said the words, a new model for growth. Okay, meaning for those companies.
Mhm. Mhm.
They're saying it's not going to look like it does. Profit before people. It's not going to look like that. Oh,
I
okay.
think that whole system is going to change as well. So corporations are going to know, at least here in the US, corporations aren't going to be valued over people anymore.
That's what they're
We're gonna
saying. No more
flip-flop
profit
that.
over people. Now, remember, everyone, we don't have timelines for this. We're just talking about what we see. We may see it 3 years,
Right now,
5
as
years.
of in this moment.
This is
It
this
can
moment in
change in a
time.
week.
Well, yeah, but point is what we're seeing change. We don't have like, oh, this is going to be next year on December 30th. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep going. So no longer profit over people. Okay, they said because the people won't tolerate it. Okay, well, that's great, but we haven't, I mean, and the energies are different. That's why we don't understand that.
That's the piece. That's the piece.
It is. It's part of the piece, yes. And I'm still getting, they're not in control anymore. It may look like it, but
yeah.
And it doesn't mean it's all going to be peaches and cream, they just said.
No, it's still going to be power struggles.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, people still have egos.
You know what I
They
heard?
still are power hungry.
As the ego starts to submit to the higher self is what I'm hearing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And meaning, and what I'm talking about here, they're showing is leaders.
Yeah.
The ones who are dug in and.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely so many leaders who are really stuck in the power hungry ego side of themselves,
Right.
and they will not give it up. However, more and more people are waking up and connecting to their higher selves. Their higher selves are more in charge than ever before, and those are going to outnumber the ones who are based in ego and power.
Yeah.
Because we've jumped to this newer, higher timeline.
They keep saying a new profit model. Profit or people over profit, or no longer profit over people. They're not giving me a lot of detail. I suppose we could find out, but I think that's enough on that part.
Yeah.
Any more on healthcare? Because I want to jump to another one.
No, I think we covered quite a bit on healthcare.
Okay. So a structure, educational structure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so guys, can we talk about, or what do you want to talk about? I guess I should ask that. That would be good. Okay, they just said faith and religious. Okay, hold on. Ooh. They said educational. They said healthcare. They just showed Mother Earth, meaning, okay, now they're showing rivers flowing, and so kind of talking about that as, this leads into, okay, they just said, oh my, I'm sorry, I'm going to take us here for a second. They said, Mother Earth will show her face.
Wait.
So, they said she has needs too. So I think this, remember we talked about Earth events? Even though she's doing healing as we are, and these energies unfold within her as well, they keep saying she's going to make herself known.
What does that mean?
Meaning with events, I think. Yes, that's what they're saying.
So more earthquakes and tsunami. Oh, yeah. And we talked about that.
We did. We did. Okay, so they're saying this will create new ways of thinking of how systems will unfold to be created to work in one with nature, and they keep saying Mother Earth. Oh, they just said it will be a coordinated effort. What do you mean? They said it
so
must be.
What keeps coming up for me, what I'm hearing is that this virus, that when Mother Earth is not taken care of, it allows more sickness. When Mother Earth is out of balance, right? So we're cutting down all the trees and we're just, pillaging the whole planet. That creates illnesses that should not and would not have been created if Mother Earth were in balance.
Oh, I just heard because she clears. I'm hearing because she clears and cleanses, and you know what this is leading to? Because remember, this is also interconnected. So now they're showing me species that are going extinct and systems that are changing within nature that are, they just said ravaged. So what happens, to your point, is these systems that were naturally in place that took care of some of these things that would affect us, they're like, oh, they just said broken link, that there's a link broken that then allows these things to happen that weren't intended to happen, because nature's perfect in that sense, in that it's a symbiotic kind of thing. It clears and cleanses for us.
Nature stays in balance if we would just leave it alone and allow it to stay in balance.
Yeah, not destroy it. So that's very. So that's okay. So this gets very complex, because they are showing that those systems they're going to have to take that and take nature into account. Like, they can't just go create. I shouldn't say we can't just go create systems that are the same as before, because you know what I'm hearing? They'll just be broken down again.
Yeah. As this whole pandemic subsides, whenever that is, those people who are the thinkers, right? The think tanks are going to be able to look at the complexity between climate change, Mother Earth, and us ravaging her, and illnesses that are created and caused by us not taking care of the planet. I mean, this is so complex. It's just like this multi-layered, it's super complex. And people are going to start putting 2 and 2 together to understand that we cannot keep treating Mother Earth the way that we.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And this is why they're keep saying to me, integrated approach. So they didn't mean that just with healthcare. They're talking everything. Integrated approach.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They do want, okay, do you mind if I shift to another thing? They
go ahead.
Okay, they want us to talk about the social structure.
Oh.
What's the new normal there? What's that gonna look like? Because I've been thinking about that. Like, okay, so let's say the virus goes to 0, which who knows if that's gonna happen, right? But let's say the virus goes to 0 and it's kind of a non-thing, right? Or they have a vaccine, I don't know. People, we do adapt. I think lots of times are pretty adaptable, but how will we look socially as we move forward? What is it going to look like?
Yeah. Everything that's happening now is going to cause us to look at this long term. Like, you're going to look at all of that.
Right. And so what they're saying to me is, okay, you currently will find this improbable, but you will be closer than ever before. And they're talking also physically. Oh, they just said, because you understand the value of human connectedness, not just through your computer, not just through your phones, but through the physical touch of humans. Like, they're talking about, we will be back to that, but it'll be a bit more than before. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
it will be more valued.
Yeah, because we have gotten pretty disconnected physically from people in many ways because of technology. But what they're saying is this will, okay, because I was sitting thinking, well, this is just going to make, we're going to be distanced from each other. We're not, who knows how long this will take to unfold, but they keep saying people will come together like never before. Now they're showing me the Whoville people again. From the Grinch. You see what I'm saying? What their message is physical contact is important for people. It's a human thing. It's a human necessity. We lost that, a lot of that, kind of with our technology, which is still a really good thing. But we're going to find a better balance between wanting to just be isolated in our homes and be on our phones all the time. Not saying that's everyone, but does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
They're saying it will happen.
Now that we're kind of supposed to be forced into isolation, it makes us miss being with people, with other people. So now we're going to start valuing what we don't have.
Okay, you want to talk about the educational system? Then we probably can wrap this up.
I think there's going to be huge changes with the educational system. More people are going to start doing it from home. Like, I see that with universities more than with the younger kids.
I just heard the words, it's going to be more different than you know. Now, I don't know how far out I'm seeing, okay? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what short-term looks like, what long-term, but.
Yeah. No, I'm totally seeing that where universities are going to be more online. They won't be able to charge as much for universities. That might actually take care of the student debt issue. So it's going to possibly be, small fees that people can manage. Yeah. I'm seeing this all changing with
Yeah, they just said in totality.
Mhm.
Education's changing in totality, but it's not just about, oh, we do more online. It's about what we teach.
That too. Well, people will be able to choose what they want instead of being forced into um, this conformity.
Exactly. So what we have to remember in everything that we're talking about is, because in our human filter, we tend to think, well, we've got these other structures in place, so this is going to adapt into that, right? It's going to be a
Mhm.
part of that. No, because what I'm getting is that, and again, this will unfold over time, is because we've shifted timelines and we're in a higher vibration now,
Mhm.
everybody's at that higher vibration. So what I'm picking up here is this, oh, they just said, this opens the door for the mystical magical to come into, like, energy healing and all this stuff that we have been sitting back going, I wish it was available, I wish everybody knew about us now. And
Mhm.
all of this that will be able to be incorporated, because okay, they said a whole house rethinking of what we educate on. And here's the other part I'm getting with this. Again, I don't know how long this is out, but I go back to, they keep showing me that there's more influence by the star beings now than there has been. So there's going to be some of that's going to be able to push this forward into the agenda, which you could think, well, there's no way that's ever going to happen in my lifetime, right?
I don't know. I'm seeing it happening sooner rather than later.
Because we know there are people that are out there thinking about how to do that.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you build that structure? And guess what? This is going to be their time. Because they just said the gateway's been open. It's this shift to the timeline. Okay, forget what we avoided by staying on the old timeline. We've shifted up. It's not about these systems being the exact same anymore. It's a whole house restructuring, and the fact we're all in a higher vibration. Even people who you couldn't imagine in a million years would be shifted upward, they are, because we all have a higher self.
And so, yeah, I can
Okay,
totally
I
see
just heard global education.
Oh my God, that would be so awesome. So global universal healthcare and global universal education.
Okay, they just said, I think I'm seeing out of ways, but I don't know. I guess I'm going to
I
talk
think you
about
are seeing out of ways.
They said boundaries are coming down.
Oh, I see that. I see that happening.
Okay, now they're saying boundaryless societies. I don't know. There we go. I mean, can you imagine how cool that would be? Like, we have a worldwide education system you could tap into. Everybody has a common language, and then they can learn each other's, or so that you can all learn from different, like, imagine the esoteric schools that you could learn from, or like if you wanted to. And so, okay, they're showing me, okay, this must have something to do with it. They're showing me monks. They're showing me Buddhist monks. They're showing me monasteries. They're showing, the orange cloaks.
Oh, you mean they're opening up their schooling too?
This is part of it, is what I'm seeing. I think I'm seeing out a long ways. I don't know.
I think you are seeing out a long
But that's okay.
I do see the boundaries coming down. And with the boundaries between countries coming down, that's when the sharing of information really increases, right? So different people who never would have spoken to each other are now going to start communicating.
Yep, and I'm hearing you will have free choice.
Yes, that's the other piece that I keep seeing, is that people are going to be able to create the schooling or education that they want.
That's why I'm getting the Buddhist monks and the monasteries and the orange cloaks, because if you want to go be, I don't know, mix something up. So let's say, I don't know, think of something. Say you want to be a doctor, okay? But you want the Buddhist philosophy understood in your work. And then you basically can, like, connect in a worldwide, they just said World Wide Web.
Yes. And so you can create. So let's say that you want to be a doctor here, but you want to incorporate the Ayurvedic from India, or the Buddhist or Tibetan philosophies, or let's say you want to also bring in the Brazilian shamanic piece, you can do that.
Yes.
I totally see that happening.
And people may say, well, how would that work if you as a doctor, are doing that, and then you join a hospital and they don't know anything about it? There's going to be an integrated way of making this happen. It's going to be common knowledge that this can be done. And then, oh my gosh, this is how we get to, remember we were talking about Hippocrates the other day, and he kept popping into my head, and I'm like, what? And then, this whole integrative approach, like this is all going to come together. This integrative approach to education and to healthcare systems. Mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and soul.
Approach society as a whole.
It ties to what the three things we just talked about, that integrative approach. It ties to education. It ties to healthcare. It ties to societal.
Yeah. So from micro to macro, so all the different levels.
Oh, you know what they just said? Because they knew what I was thinking. They said, don't worry about the how.
I know.
And because they just said to me, you know how the how unfolds. It's in the now moment. It's higher selves leading people. It's follow the thread of the thing. And it is. It's like, we're perfect examples. All of a sudden, these things show up and we are creating out of that with these intuitive gifts that have opened up for us, right?
Yeah.
And you just follow the thread of the thing. Their higher self, everybody's higher self is going to be more active.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I'm exhausted.
That's what's happened. That part has already happened with this new timeline that we've jumped on.
Oh, yeah. And exactly. And I meant to mention nature. So we had the 4 systems that we touched on today. Mother Earth, incorporating that, education. Now there's other systems, but these are the ones we education, Mother Earth, healthcare, and societal connection.
Yeah, that's a lot. I think we've covered a lot.
We've covered kind of overarchingly. Okay, so there you go. A lot to think about, right? And what I would really like to be able to do is take some of what, and I need to go back and listen to the video myself, but take some of what came through and delve in at a more detailed level as we move forward, because they're really giving me the sense, they're giving me the sense right now that there's more that they can unfold for us. So this gets us started in that direction. Again, as I say, hopefully some of this will resonate for you as you move forward in your own journey and you get bits and pieces of things that really make sense for you. And I thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I will leave you with my purplerainhealing.com website where all my services are listed. And right now I am offering a special during this time. It's a half-hour distance energy healing session where you will receive also a short channeled message, a basic assessment, but it's 30 minutes instead of my full-blown session that I do with extensive channeling. And I'm doing this because I know a lot of people right now are in financial straits or contemplating their finances, right? So I'm offering this now for you at a $45 rate. So if you go to my website, you may not see it listed, but you can go through the contact page, contact me, mention the $45 distance energy healing session. I'll work with you one-on-one to determine when that time would work for you. And all you do is meditate in your home while I work on your chakras and any physical and emotional symptoms that you're having currently. So this is a great time to get a little ease and relaxation in your life through an energy healing session at a really discounted rate. So I hope that you take advantage of this because I would so love to work with you. And you can see all my other services of channeling and spiritual awakening mentoring and the full distance energy healing and channeling sessions that I also offer if you'd like on my website. So go to the contact portion of my website, write me, mention the special I'm offering, and I will get together to work with you. Thank you so much for joining me. I wish you well, and I'll see you in the next video.